Well, welcome back to our Eyamie NFL show. Week 1 just finished, and now we're on to Week 2. But before we get to that, we're going to recap a bit of Week 1.
So as you can see, we had two games that were different from Week 1. The Bills at the Rams. Aiden picked the Bills. They dominated the Rams, so he get that one. And then the Steelers at the Bengals. It came down to last-second overtime, but the Steelers won. I had the Steelers, and Aiden had the Bengals. The Colts and Texans did tie. I gave it to us because we picked the Colts to win, and they didn't lose, so we gave ourselves a win for that one. That puts both of us at 10-6 for the year. Aiden, let's pick a team or a person to throw in the dumpster fire. Who would you pick from Week 1 that just played horrible?
I'm going to say the 49ers defense. They had 11 penalties, something like that. They had 11 penalties for around 100 yards, and their secondary allowed 2 big touchdowns for not that good wide receivers. And I think that the 49ers defense is going to need to step up in Week 2.
The team or person that I want to throw in the dumpster fire is the Dallas Cowboys. Their offense was horrible. They were brutal. 3 points. They played horrible with Dak in the game, most of the game. I don't see them doing much this year. Cowboys are brutal. Who would you give your game ball to in Week 1?
My game ball is going to Saquon Barkley with that game-winning 2-point conversion. He did amazing in the entire game, but he really finished it off, put the cherry on top of the ice cream with that 2-point conversion for the win.
Yeah, Barkley's a beast. My game ball, no surprise, Steelers defense. They were unbelievable. 5 turnovers. They had pressure on Burrow the whole time. Steelers should have won by 4 or 5 touchdowns if they had any sort of offense. But Steelers defense, pick 6 to start the game. It was a crazy performance by the Steelers D. They get my game ball for Week 1.
Crazy game overall.
Yeah, crazy game overall. What a great matchup for the first game of Week 2. This could be for the AFC title in beginning of January. Chargers at the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a very close game. Both looked really good in Week 1. But it's in Kansas City. Mahomes has something to prove. J.C. Jackson still probably not playing for the Chargers. All those things I think is going to come down close in the fourth quarter, but I'm picking the Chiefs to win.
I agree. I think that the Chiefs, they outplayed the Cardinals completely last week. Chargers did the same, playing the Raiders, but not as much as a blowout. I think Patrick Mahomes, he threw for 5 touchdowns last week. I don't think he's going to do that good, but I think he's going to do good in this game. This game could be very close, but it also could be a complete blowout. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Lamar Jackson, he's going to want to run all over this defense, and he'll try to pass. But I think that Howard and Javon Holland could shut down those deep passes and force J.K. Dobbins and Lamar Jackson to run. I think that the Dolphins' defense has improved quite a bit, and the Dolphins' offense has improved even more. I think I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins.
Oh, well, I'm going to pick the Ravens on this one. I think both teams have a lot of question marks still. The Ravens beat the Jets in Week 1, and the Dolphins beat the pathetic Patriots in Week 1, so we didn't really learn a lot about each team. So I think this will tell us actually how good or bad each team is. And so I'm taking the Ravens. I think they showed more against the Jets. I think they'll be able to hold, even though they've already lost a cornerback, I think they'll be able to hold the fast Miami wideouts in check. And so I'm taking the Ravens. I know I said I wasn't going to bet with the Browns all year, but this is Week 2, and they looked pretty good in Week 1. So I'm actually taking the Browns on this one. Yeah. Flacco had 59 passing attempts. The Jets did not look good at all in Week 1. The Browns actually did look good. They have some weapons with Chubb and Hunt, obviously. Jacoby Brissett handled the game quite well. They're playing at home. I'm taking the Browns.
I think the big question in this game is, can the Browns O-line hold the Jets D-line? And I think that they will be able to. Because I think if Jacoby Brissett doesn't get pressured that much, he'll have a pretty good game against this weak Jets secondary. And I think that the Browns, with weapons like you said, are going to do good on offense. And I think they'll also do good on defense with Myles Garrett and Owosu Koramoah. I think that they'll hold the Jets running backs and the Jets receivers. I'm going to take the Commanders for this one. The Commanders won against the Jaguars last week, and I'm expecting to win against the Lions this week. I was expecting the Jaguars to win, and the Commanders proved me wrong. Good job. Carson Wentz, he won't have to do much in this game, having Scary Terry and Jahan Dotson there. And I think that they should be okay. Dotson had 2 touchdowns last week, and I'm expecting another big game from him.
Dotson did look good. McLaurin's always a threat. I just can't bet with Wentz. I don't know what it is. Wentz will ruin the game somehow. The Lions look much better than I thought they would. Dan Campbell might be putting together a decent quality team there. I'm taking the Lions on this one. Lions at home. It may be close, but I can't bet with Wentz yet. I'm taking the Lions.
Last week, he said that he couldn't bet with the Browns.
Good point. Well, we'll see. I thought the Jaguars underperformed in week 1, and now they're facing the Indianapolis Colts, who have a pretty decent team. They underperformed in week 1 as well, ending up in a tie with Houston. I think the Colts will resolve their kicking issues over the course of this week. I'm taking the Colts to win on the road. I think Pittman will have another big day. I think Jonathan Taylor will have another big day. I think the Jaguars still need time. They're a young team. I think they need some more time to gel. They'll be a decent 0-2 team, but I don't see them getting their first win against the Colts quite yet.
I'm going to go with that. I think that the Colts are going to defeat the Jags on the road. And I think that offense could do pretty good. Pittman, T.Y. Hilton, Matt Ryan from the Falcons. But the defense, I think, is gonna win the game for them. With Stephon Gilmore getting added and DeForest Buckner. They just have a good depth chart. And I think that the Jaguars, their first one isn't coming here. I think this could be a very close game. Both 1-0 teams. But they both faced not very good teams last week. This will be the game to decide who is going to win this division, I think. And I'm going to take the Bucs. Tom Brady, he's in his 23rd season. He's pretty much the same, other than being on the Bucs, not the Patriots. But this Saints defense, I don't think they'll be able to hold them, with Marshawn Lattimore being a good cornerback. But they'll need 2 good cornerbacks, because Julio Jones is on the other side of that field, and he's going to have a big game, in my opinion. I'm taking Bucs. Saints, your first loss of the season is coming in week 2.
Yeah, I think both teams struggled on offense until the fourth quarter of each game, and then Jameis Winston came alive, Tom Brady, and the offense actually scored a touchdown instead of a field goal. And so I think the question mark will be that Bucs offensive line. Can they give Tom Brady enough time? You know, the Cowboys kind of showed that they were weak on the offensive line. Micah Parsons had a good day. I don't think the Saints have quite the same threat that the Cowboys do on defense. I see the Bucs taking advantage of that. I'm taking Tampa Bay in this one. Ooh, the Panthers at the Giants. This is another questionable game. Both teams looked good at times in week 1, but both teams looked bad at times. I think the Giants are going to prove that they are actually a force to be reckoned with. With Saquon Barkley healthy, they're looking like a completely different team. I think Baker Mayfield will have some challenges with that Giants defense. I'm taking the Giants at home to win over the Panthers. What do you think?
Giants as well. I gave my game ball to Saquon Barkley, and I'm expecting him to have another big game in this one. I think that the Panthers defense won't be able to stop Barkley and this Giants offense. I think the Giants could dominate in this game, and the Panthers defense is going to fall behind. Mac Jones is questionable for this game. I'm not sure if he's going to be playing or not, but either way, I think the Steelers are going to win.
Yes.
That Steelers D, I think, is going to stop whoever's playing QB and those running backs, Damian Harris. And I think that the Steelers offense, they're angry from last week because they didn't do good, and I'm expecting them to have a big game.
You might be watching the best defense go against the worst offense in the NFL. The Steelers will dominate the Patriots. They may get 3 points, maybe. That's my prediction. 3 points for the Patriots. The Steelers won't need that many points. Trubisky started to get a feel in overtime of the Steelers' offense. I don't think they need a lot of points to win this one. Dare I say that Bill Belichick has lost his touch. I'm taking the Steelers. Double betting on this one. Take the Steelers all the way.
I think the Bills are the best defense in the NFL. Just saying.
The Falcons looked pretty good for most of the game in Week 1, where the Rams did not look good for most of the game in Week 1. However, they were playing two different caliber opponents. I expect the Rams to come out firing in this one. They still have the squad. They still have the coaching staff. They will be ready for the Falcons. They're playing at home for the second week in a row. The Falcons are on the road. I'm expecting a fairly significant Rams victory. They need to make a statement that they are still here. They are the Super Bowl champions. I'm taking the Rams pretty significantly over the Falcons.
Yep, that pretty much sums it up. Falcons, they choked away a lead again last week. And the Rams, they won the Super Bowl last year. Don't count them out. They're going to win this game.
Gino.
The 49ers lost horribly last week in the rain at Chicago. And they're going to get revenge against the Seahawks. They're at home this time. And the Seahawks, although winning their game last week, aren't going to win this one, I think.
The NFC West leading Seattle Seahawks will experience their first loss of the year against the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco. Trey Lance will have an unbelievable game, will put to rest the questions whether Jimmy G should be playing. As long as there's not a rain or hailstorm or monsoon in San Francisco, I'm expecting the 49ers to completely dominate this game and truly show us that Seattle is still the bottom of the NFL. Don't believe what you saw in Week 1 from the Seahawks. The Cowboys, who recently got put in a dumpster fire from me, will need Cooper Rush to take them out of that dumpster fire and lead them to the promised land to get their first victory. Is he going to do it in Week 2 against the Cincinnati Bengals? No, he is not. The Bengals are a good team. They should have won against the Steelers 3 or 4 different ways. They did not. They're still the Super Bowl contender that they were last year. Joe Burrow has an offense around him that can put up points. The Cowboys cannot put up points. They should be running Zeke. Did you know that Zeke had an average over 5 yards a rush in Game 1? Except they only rushed him 10 times. Why would they not rush him more when your running back is averaging 5 yards a carry? They need to rush Zeke. They still won't put up enough points to beat the Bengals. I'm taking the Bengals pretty convincingly. The Cowboys are in trouble. Until further notice, the Cowboys still stink.
Like a dumpster fire.
Like in a dumpster fire.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you need to say. There's not much I can add on. Jamar Chase had a great game last week. Joe Burrow, not so much. And Joe Burrow's going to look to get back against this Cowboys defense. Trevon Diggs, I don't think he's going to be able to guard Jamar Chase very well. And Jamar Chase, I'm expecting him to have a blowout game. I guess you could say they're both 0-1 teams, but not really. They're both winless teams. And the Broncos are going to become a winning team. They're going to win this game. The Texans are no good. I don't know how they tied with the Colts. There's some magic in the air. And I think the Broncos, they're going to perform well after performing bad last Monday. I think that they can do good in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the Broncos performed bad. They just couldn't finish their drives. 2 fumbles within the 4-yard line. They should have put up a lot more points against Seattle. I think Seattle probably has a better defense than the Texans, so I expect Denver to put up quite a few points here. I don't think there's any question Denver's taking this one at home. Kyler Murray just signed this big contract. You did not look like it in week 1. Where's the offense? Don't know if the Cardinals have the team. The Raiders definitely do. Devontae Adams had a great game, but Derek Carr had a horrible quarterback rating, picked off like 3 times. Derek Carr needs to step up his game. He needs to pass it around to more than just Devontae Adams, but I think he will. I think the Raiders will come around. They're playing in Vegas. I take the Raiders.
I'm also gonna go with the Raiders. They got Devontae Adams. He's not going to be stopped in this game. DeAndre Hopkins is out for yet another week, until week 7. And the Cardinals' defense won't be able to stop Devontae Adams. And if they somehow do stop Devontae Adams, they still have to deal with Josh Jacobs in the backfield and Hunter Renfrow. And I think this Raiders offense, look for a really big game in this one. Sunday Night Football. Bears are actually have the winning record against the Packers, but they're both going to be 1-1 after this game. Packers, they're going to have a good game. Aaron Rodgers didn't have it last week, and his receivers are going to try and help him out this week, and I think they'll succeed. The Packers defense, I think that they're going to step it up a notch, and the Bears, after surprising the 49ers last week, aren't going to surprise the Packers this week.
Yeah, I think unless there's horrible weather, the Packers have the much better team. I expect those wideouts are getting no sleep this week. Aaron Rodgers probably has them working 16 hours a day to make improvements over their week 1 performance. They need a receiver to step up. Hopefully Lazard is able to if he's playing, but they need some receivers to help out Rodgers. They still have a decent defense. The Packers do. So they're playing in Lambeau. Remember last year, Packers started very slow, and then week 2 they came storming back. And so I'm expecting the same thing from the Packers this time, and I'm taking the Packers too. The first Monday night game, Titans at the Bills. This should be a good one. I'm expecting it to be pretty close, at least through the first half. I think the Bills are a better team. I think they have the offense. They have more firepower. The Titans did not look like it in week 1. The Bills came out firing in week 1, and they've had 10, 11 days of rest by the time this game starts. And so I expect the Bills will come out firing again with so much rest, and I'm taking the Bills at home. It might be close through a half, but I think the Bills will pull away in the late 3rd quarter, early 4th quarter. The Titans won't be able to keep up. I'm taking the Bills. I know that'll make you happy, but I'm taking the Bills.
Me too. With that extra long week, I think that they're going to be nice and healthy and ready to go for this game. And the Titans, they lost to the Giants last week. Derrick Henry got pushed around like average running back, and he's not average. Derrick Henry might have a good game, might not, I don't know. But I think that this Bills secondary, if they can make Ryan Tannehill throw, then they'll pick him off. This could be the game of the week. I think it could be the game of the week. And I'm going to have to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that their defense is going to be able to stop Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Dalvin Cook as well. And their offense, I think that's just unstoppable. The Lions couldn't stop it last week. I don't think the Vikings will stop it either. And I think this Eagles offense is what's going to win the game.
I look at it the opposite way. That the Eagles couldn't stop the Detroit Lions. And so Minnesota's coming to town, and they have a much better offense than the Detroit Lions. And so is Minnesota going to put up 50 points maybe against the Eagles? They need to change some stuff on the Eagles' D if they're going to expect to win this game. I don't think they'll do it in time. I'm taking the Vikings. I think they looked really good in week 1. I think they're going to continue rolling. Vikings in maybe, I think you're right, with the game of the week as the final game of week 2 on Monday night. So take the Vikings. We have a new segment on the Eyamie NFL show called Bold Predictions. This is where we make some predictions for the week, something out of the ordinary that might not happen. Aiden, you want to go first? What's your bold prediction for any of the week 2 games?
My bold prediction is the Commanders-Lions game. I am predicting Carson Wentz to have 3 interceptions.
Oh. And still?
And still win.
Because you picked them to win.
I picked them to win.
With
I still
3
think they're going to
interceptions.
win.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
What's your bold prediction?
I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks are going to be shut out by the San Francisco 49ers.
Whoa.
I don't think they'll get any points. 0. Not even a field goal. I think the 49ers will dominate from start to finish. The Seahawks will come back to reality. 0 points. That's my bold prediction.
Okay. And now, like we always do, before we leave, it's my turn to ask him a question. This is a different type of question. If you could give the Steelers advice for this week's game, what would it be?
It would be to do something different on the offense. Trubisky was good at managing the game, but you got to have a little bit more variety on offense. Too many 3-and-outs. You got to be able to get first downs. In the first 4 quarters of that game, they only had 9 first downs, like 113 yards passing. That's brutal. And so they have to switch up the offense. Najee should be playing. Use him. Do dump passes to him. Run him. They got to change things up on the offense because otherwise the defense wears out by the 4th quarter. So they have to change up the offense.
Nice. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back here next Wednesday for week 3. See you next time.
See you.